last several days, a Tallahassee man is now accused of 3 murders, possibly all committed within 24 to 48 hours. This map shows where the victims were found, 2 here in Tallahassee and another in Valdosta. Now here's the man accused of killing them, 54-year-old Flay Rollins. Right now, Rollins is facing 3 counts of murder, and the state attorney says he may face a 4th murder charge if an autopsy confirms one of the women was pregnant.
Today we're going to be in the south of Georgia and the north of Florida, speaking about a disturbed man with a lengthy criminal history who ended up on a murderous spree after the justice system let him out in the free world time and time again. A man with more than 11 total felony convictions over a 30-plus year period and a total of 7 different prison sentences throughout his life. A now 54-year-old Flay Rollins can literally be described as a person no woman will want to be tangled up with. He is purely a man of anyone's nightmares. He is also registered with the NCIC, which is the National Crime Information Center, as a career criminal managed by the FBI. This allows officers to quickly view an individual's criminal history, including previous arrests, convictions, and parole and probation status for habitual offenders. Being in and out of the system so many times, he clearly grew accustomed to doing his crimes, knowing that he would end up being back out on the streets. With no real accountability ever given, he decided to take his criminal life to the next level, and this time he destroyed multiple families on a 2-day crime spree. The many tragedies of Flay Rollins began on January 16, 2026, when the Lyon County Sheriff's Office in Florida received a call around 11:30 a.m. about a deceased female found on the side of the road near Bethel by the Lake Drive in Tallahassee, Florida. When deputies responded, they found a woman by the name of Otisa Williams lying on the western side of the Bethel by the Lake Drive, just south of a cul-de-sac leading towards the Camp Richardson Recreation and Retreat area. Otisa was declared unalive at the scene, and deputies noted she was shot in the head and neck area. At least one spent .40 caliber bullet casing was located near her body, and to make the crime more devastating, Otisa was also pregnant. Before her life was tragically stolen from her, she was a mother of 4 who was excited about expecting her 5th child, and she dedicated her life to taking care of her kids. Now, sadly, her oldest child has been left with the heavy burden of trying to hold her siblings together just months after losing her father, too.
Right now, this family is hurting. 4 kids without their mother, and I'm told that they just want closure and for the person responsible to be held accountable. Take a look at this picture. Otisa Williams, a loving mother and pregnant with another child, was shot and killed. Her kids all grieving and just trying to understand why their mom was taken from them. I spoke with Zian, Otisa's oldest daughter. She says she feels like she's missing half of her heart right now, losing both her parents just months apart. But she says she's trying to remain strong for her young siblings.
She always made sure that no matter what, if she wasn't there, like physically, she was there mentally. No matter what the circumstances was, she always made a way for us.
Zian is taking on the responsibility of putting her mother to rest, mostly by herself. Right now, she is asking the community for help to give her mom the proper burial.
During the investigation, detectives traced Otisa's last steps to her uncle's house, where she had been staying. Her uncle told detectives she was picked up by Flay on January 15th at around 8 p.m. When law officials looked into the state surveillance cameras in Tallahassee, they captured Flay's car in the area of Otisa's uncle's residence during the time frame when Otisa was reportedly picked up by Flay. The report states that based on this information, Flay was identified as a suspect in her unaliving. Detectives in Florida then learned of an arrest warrant for murder that had been issued for Flay by the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office in Valdosta, Georgia, in reference to a shooting incident that happened during the early morning hours of January 16th. On that day, a husband and father of 12 was found on the 3200 block of Skipper Bridge Road. 59-year-old Walter Pettiford, better known as Bo, was said to be a co-worker of Flay's and was days away from celebrating his 60th birthday. Flay was located later that day back in Florida and taken into custody by the U.S. Marshals. The report states that a .40 caliber firearm was found in the car and that a red substance consistent with blood was observed on his shoes.
The family of Walter Bo Pettiford says their world is much quieter now, and many of the moments they once shared feel different without him.
I can't believe he's going to be a distant memory because I don't know how I'm going to live through life without my father.
The family of Walter Bo Pettiford says he was a true family man, someone who lived for his children.
Even though he had boys, he still was a girl's dad. And and I watched him, like being raised in the house with him, with girls, I watched how they end up softening him.
Walter and his wife Lindsay were married for 18 years and raised 6 daughters together. In all, he had 12 children. They say their world was shattered when they learned of his death.
So we felt very thrown off by that because we were like, how can someone that close to him do something like that?
The Lowndes County Sheriff's Office says Pettiford's body was found off Skipper Bridge Road in Valdosta. Investigators say he died from a gunshot wound. His family says they're still trying to come to terms with the loss.
I'm waiting on him to just walk in or to call me or to, say he got the wrong person. Or I'm waiting on to see the person and say, oh, no, that's not my husband, that's the wrong person. Because everything right now is just like not reality just yet.
Following his arrest, Flay was taken to be interrogated at the Lyon County Sheriff's Office in Florida, where he admitted to shooting and unaliving not only Otisa, but also admitted to shooting and unaliving the mother of his daughter, Sheena, earlier in that morning on January 15th. Flay told investigators he picked up Sheena in his car and drove her around for a while before driving her into the woods near the Apalachicola National Forest, where he admitted to shooting her multiple times before dragging her further into the woods. This was 15 miles east of where he left Otisa's body. Sadly, during this time, Sheena was allegedly still conscious and was pleading with Flay to spare her life, but the report says he then shot her again in the head. After finishing up the interrogation, Flay directed detectives to the area where he murdered Sheena, and they found her lifeless body. This, however, was not Flay's first disturbing encounter with Sheena, and back in 2018, he was arrested for attempted murder after stabbing Sheena while her kids were nearby. The crime took place outside of her Tallahassee apartment at the time, as her terrified family took shelter inside. The attack left Sheena clinging to life with stab wounds in her back and collapsed lungs. Sheena's son, and oldest of her 4 children, was a young teenager at the time of the crime and said that his grandma blocked him from going outside to help. But when it was all over, he opened the door to find his mother on the ground, bleeding and in shock. Sheena was said to be unable to cope in the aftermath of the tragedy and sadly was not able to care for her 4 children the way she once did. According to a loved one, she had a mental breakdown and was never the same after that. Things were so bad that at that time, Sheena's oldest son went to live with his father, while his younger sisters and brother, who now range in age from 8 to 19, were placed in foster care. Her oldest son would say they were gone for almost a year and that their mother fought hard to get them back. Flay, who is also the father of Sheena's youngest daughter, was convicted by a jury in 2019 on a lesser charge of attempted manslaughter instead of the original charge of attempted murder. He was then sentenced to 4 years in prison, but served less than 3 before getting out in 2022. Sheena loved her kids dearly and always put her family first. Her kindness and generosity touched so many lives, and she was always there to lend a helping hand to anyone who needed it. She was trying to move forward in life, focusing on the positive and leaving the negative behind, but Flay came back to destroy everything. During the investigation, Flay said he initially became enraged by the actions of his co-worker Walter, and that after work on January 14th, he came up with a plan to take Walter's life. Flay told detectives he knew he was going to eventually end Walter's life. Then he encountered both Otisa, his current girlfriend, who was also pregnant with his child, and Sheena, who was the mother to his daughter and the ex he tried to murder in 2018, and decided to kill them too. More disturbing information in the report says that after both women were initially shot, Flay approached both victims and shot them again to ensure they were gone, but it appears he allowed them to suffer first. Just when you think you've heard it all, Flay was out on bond for another attempted murder after he got out of jail in 2022. In October of 2023, he allegedly attacked his girlfriend with a box cutter and punched her multiple times, causing her great harm. The girlfriend, however, was not one of the women that he murdered on January 16th. In May of 2024, he was arrested for that crime and charged with aggravated harm with a fatal weapon. During his first court appearance, the judge set his bond at $10,000 and ordered him to have no contact with the victim and no weapons or ammunition. He bonded out of the Lyon County Detention Facility later that same day, according to court records. In July of 2024, the state attorney office decided to upgrade the charges for the October 2023 crime to attempted second-degree murder, but he was still able to be out on that same bond in the street, and a trial date was set for May of 2026. When the state attorney, Jack Campbell, heard about the January 2026 crime spree that Flay went on, he looked at Flay's other cases to see if they had dropped the ball or if something they could have done different in past time, and he determined that he couldn't find anything that they could have or would have done differently. However, I found his statement to be quite concerning for a man that has such a lengthy criminal history and has already tried to take other people's lives. I'm sure many people see things a whole different way, knowing that his background and everything he has been charged with already over the past 3 decades.
LCSO has arrested 54-year-old Flay Rollins in connection to 2 separate homicides in Lyon County and another one in Valdosta. According to LCSO, he has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 2 counts of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Yesterday, the body of a woman was found at the 150 block of Bethel by Lake Drive. Rollins was identified as a suspect. During the investigation, the U.S. Marshals Task Force told deputies that Rollins had been located and taken to the Lyon County Detention Facility after the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office in Valdosta issued a warrant for a separate homicide. LCSO says Rollins admitted to the Lyon County homicide and told officers about another homicide he had committed also in Lyon County. With the information given to authorities, they found another woman dead in Apalachicola National Forest. The medical examiner's office confirmed she was pregnant at the time of her death. Both Lyon County victims were shot. They say this is an ongoing investigation and more charges may be filed.
State Attorney Jack Campbell says Rollins was actually out on bond awaiting trial for another attempted murder when this unfolded. Campbell pointed out Florida DOC records show Rollins has been to prison 7 times in the past 30-plus years and was most recently released in 2022.
Now Flay is finally being held without bond in the Lyon County Detention Facility and may face the death penalty if convicted. But it has all come too late, and multiple people had to lose their lives for him to finally not be able to use his get-out-of-jail-free card, and that should not be the case. It is also being said that the apple did not fall far from the tree, because Flay Rollins Sr. allegedly unalived a woman he was dating back in 1973 and did very little time in jail allegedly, and that too is very disturbing. With his 2-day crime spree, Flay was able to leave 20 kids without parents. Walter's 12, Otisa's 4, and Sheena's 4. And let's not forget, he also took the life of an unborn child that Otisa was carrying when she was murdered. These crimes are so heinous and so disturbing, and the fact that he had a long 30-year rap sheet and was able to continually get out of jail after trying to take other people's lives more than once is a very scary thought. And it breaks my heart that our justice system failed all of these kids. And not just the kids, all of the family members and loved ones who now have experienced something so tragic and life-changing. All 4 of their lives mattered, and they should still be here. My thoughts and prayers go out to everyone affected by this man, and I just pray that this time the justice system does not fail, because there is no way he should ever be out in the free world again. Let me know your thoughts. Also, please pray for every single family that was affected by this monster, and pray that all of their families get full and total justice that they deserve. Also, don't forget to hit that like button and share to make your people aware. And as always, remember to stay woke. Things change quickly.